The main event this Saturday night, Sean Strickland is going to be taking on Jack Hermansen to headline this 13-fight card, and what a fight we have to break down for you, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, everybody? My name is David Hanson, and I'm going to break down this main event for this Saturday night's fight night, Jack Hermansen versus Sean Strickland. And what a great fight this is. This is a great fight on paper, and this is going to be two top 10 middleweights clashing to see who is going to be next in line for the title to take on the champion, Israel Adesanya, who has a fight coming up not this Saturday, but the Saturday after, February 12th. He will be defending his title once again against Robert Whittaker. Now, this Saturday night, we've got Jack Hermansen taking on Sean Strickland, and we're going to go ahead and break it down right now. So, Jack Hermansen, 22-6. Sean Strickland is 24-3. The average fight time, Sean Strickland tends to be in there just a little bit longer, just because he's not getting people out of there by finish. He just kind of picks and prods at his opponents with good boxing, nice jab, takes downs if need be. But his takedown average is very low. Right here you can see his takedown average is 1.32 average per 15 minutes. And so I really don't see with him going to the floor, especially with somebody of the caliber of submissions with Jack Hermansen. And so I typically see this is going to be staying on the feet. But back to the tail of the tape. So both of these fighters are going to be 6 foot. They're 6'1". They're both going to be weighing in 185, maximum 186 pounds. You know, Jack Hermansen is recording right here a 1-inch reach advantage over Sean Strickland, but I don't think that's necessarily going to really matter because Sean Strickland is very, very good about sticking that jab out there and just disrupting his opponent's movement. If you go back and you watch the Uriah Hall fight, and even if you go watch the Brendan Allen fight, that was probably one of the best performances of the last 5 fights that he's on. So, both of these fighters are orthodox. Jack Hermansen is just a little bit older at 33 years of age. But, right here, the strikes landed per minute. Sean Strickland lands just about a strike more per minute than Jack Hermansen. Not very much. A lot of these highlighted stats right here, a lot of these are very similar. If you look at strikes landed per minute, strikes absorbed per minute, they're almost identical. And then if you look at the grappling, you know, Jack Hermansen, he's very well-rounded in his abilities. He likes to take it down to the ground and work on. That's where he really shines, is down on the ground with really heavy ground and pound, very nice grappling and submissions. But what this fight is going to be doing is particularly staying on the feet. You know, Sean Strickland, he has an 82% takedown defense. And there's actually a really, really nice fun fact for this fight. So let's go ahead and jump over to the UFC rankings and check this out. So in the middleweight division, Israel Adesanya stands the champion. Right now, this fight is going to be number 6 versus number 7. So very high stakes in this middleweight division fight. Now, let's go back over here and let's take a look at Jack Hermansen. We will get to Sean Strickland's takedown defense stat in a minute. Something very interesting that I noticed on his middleweight run. So, with Jack Hermansen, he's been in the UFC for quite a while, making his UFC debut back in 2016. He's also been a Cage Warrior champion. He had a small stint in Bellator, as you can see down here. He lost twice in Bellator. That's why I said a small stint. But nonetheless, he's finally made it to the UFC, making his debut in 2016. And you know what? He's kind of been up and down. He's had a few wins, few losses. the big thing is that, he has been finished. He has, I'm not saying that he has quit in him, but if he tends to get pressured too much, if the fighter has good takedown defense, like I just, we'll have to see what happens, but I don't see. He tends to kind of crack under pressure a little bit. Not necessarily crack, but he can't really. In the first round of the Edmund Shabazian fight, Edmund Shabazian was walking him down. Marvin Vettori beat him up pretty good. Jared Cannonier knocked him out. He submitted Kelvin Gastelum with a heel hook. Like, he caught him in a heel hook when he was dry in the first round. Who knows what would have happened if he wouldn't have caught Kelvin Gastelum in that heel hook. Kelvin Gastelum has very good takedown defense. And if you go back and watch that fight, Jack Hermansen, he goes to engage for the takedown, but Kelvin Gastelum, with his wrestling defense, he's able to scramble back up, at least into the top position. Granted, he got submitted in 1 minute and 18 seconds by the heel hook, but nonetheless, like I said, he's got some good wins. Gerald Mearsheimer, he's got a win over him. David Branch, Jacare Souza. Like I said, he's been knocked out by Jared Cannonier. I mean, Jack the Joker Hermansen, he's 3-2 in his last 5, 9-4 overall in the UFC run. This is going to be his 15th fight heading into the octagon this Saturday night. And let's move over here to Sean Strickland. We'll take a look at his record. And Sean Strickland, he's got a lot of green on his record. As you can see right here, he won the Cage Warriors Championship at 8-0. I'm sorry, not the Cage Warriors, the King of the Cage Championship. He defended it 5 times. And then he made his UFC debut back in 2014. Took on Bubba McDaniel, took on Luke Barnott. Made his welterweight debut, lost to Santiago Ponzinibbio. And, he won 3 in a row after that loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio. And then he ran into who's the current welterweight champion now. Now, like I said, the fight this Saturday night is at middleweight. This run right here, from this loss to Santiago Ponzinibbio up to this point right here, this is all welterweight. And you can see he won all the way up until he made his welterweight debut. Why he decided to go to welterweight, I don't know. Maybe he thought he would have an edge in the UFC if he cut the weight. But obviously, he ended up losing to Kamaru Usman. Got a win over Court McGee. Another loss to Alessio Zaleski dos Santos. And you know what? There was a stint right in here, right after this Nordine Taleb fight, when he got into a horrible motorcycle accident. And I don't know what ended up happening. He ended up returning back to middleweight, and he's been on a complete tear. He's on a 5-fight win streak, 1 at welterweight, 4 at middleweight. He taking out Jack Marshman. That was a phenomenal fight by Sean Strickland. He was talking to him the entire time. Brendan Allen, I think there was something up. There was something up between these guys, because Sean Strickland, if you go back and watch this fight, he was like a man possessed in the fight. He beat Brendan Allen. He beat the brakes off of him. And Brendan Allen's an amazing fighter. Now, if you look at this next one, Christoph Joxo, this is another great fighter. Another decision win by him. And then probably one of the biggest ones right here is the Uriah Hall fight. Now, granted, Uriah Hall, he has tended to, not show up in some fights. I don't necessarily know if he showed up in this fight, but nonetheless, Sean Strickland showed that he had 5-round abilities in this fight. The jab was completely on point. And like I tell you, the jab in the Marshman fight, the Brendan Allen fight, like, he feeds these guys his jab for breakfast. It is absolute. Well, I guess by the time the fight comes on, it would be dinner time. But nonetheless, he feeds these guys his jab. He has constant pressure. He's got great hands. He's got great takedown defense. I really think that the odds are leaning into Sean Strickland's favor this weekend. Now, if you go over here to Tapology and you look, if you go down here to the Tapology community predictions, 1,231 people have weighed in on this fight, and 73% of them showing Sean Strickland, 27% for Hermansen. I'm going to have to agree with it. The odds have it the same. Minus 210 favorite, plus 175 underdog for Hermansen. Like I said, I'm definitely going to lean that same way. You know, the favorite is Sean Strickland. I think his boxing is too good. I think that his takedown defense. And before I let you go, let me go back real quick, because now that I mentioned it, I forgot about that interesting stat that I was going to tell you guys. If you look at Sean Strickland's stats right here. Let's take a look at Sean Strickland. Okay, so like I said, he has an 82% takedown defense. So, if you go look at these fights, Sean Strickland has not been taken down since the Kamaru-Usman fight, all the way back in 2017. Now, this is a big stat right here. Now, if Jack Hermansen is able to take Sean Strickland down, who knows what's going to happen? I think Sean Strickland's going to be able to stay on the feet. Like, all of the stats point to that. Ever since he's been back in to the UFC in this middleweight run, he hasn't been taken down. The last person to take him down was Kamaru frickin' Usman, who's the current welterweight champion and #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world right now. And so I don't see Jack Hermansen being able to take him down and maybe if he drops him and jumps on him, but I just don't see it. I think they have it right. I think the favorite is Sean Strickland for a reason. I think he's going to get it done. I'm going to go ahead and say if he doesn't finish him in the later rounds, it's going to be probably, I would say, a later finish, 4th, 5th round finish, if not go to a decision. But I'm going to go ahead and take Sean Strickland in this fight. It's a pretty decent fight card. There's 13 fights, but they're just kind of letting us take a softball hit right here before the big pay-per-view on February 12th. And, that's going to be a completely stacked pay-per-view. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for these fights this Saturday night. It's going to be great. Like I said, Sean Strickland taking on Jack Hermansen. I got Sean Strickland in this fight. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to have to say. Go in the comment section down below. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I will be back for another breakdown video very shortly. Thanks for watching, guys.